Hi beautiful souls, welcome to my channel Elle's Temple. My name is Elle, I'm a goddess guide and intuitive tarot reader, and today I am so excited to be bringing you a very special reading all about be your authentic self, guidance on how to come home to your true self. So this promises to be a very lovely, nurturing, supportive reading. So get yourself a cup of tea, settle in and enjoy the messages. So to introduce, there are going to be 3 different choose your own adventure stories or pick a card piles today. So we have got, if you are drawn to card number 22 with library, take control of your own narrative, you will be pile number 1. If you are drawn to card number 23 with confidence, it comes with time and practice, you'll be pile number 2. And if you are drawn to card number 1 with princess, you can be your own knight, you will be pile number 3. Now for those of you who are drawn to choosing a pile using crystals, I will be back in a second with crystals. Okay, so pile number 1, if you are drawn to sodalite crystal, you'll be pile 1. If you are drawn to the sunstone crystal, you will be pile number 2. And last but not least, if you're drawn to the adventuring crystal, you will be pile number 3. So my loves, pause the video if you need a little bit more time to choose which pile is drawing you in. The timestamps will be in the description box below, as always. Trust your intuition. If you are drawn to more than one pile, it may just mean that there are different messages across the different piles that you just need to draw on to create your reading today. Only ever take the messages that resonate, never force anything to fit. Okay, my loves, I will see you in your pile. Hi, pile number 1. If you chose the library card with take control of your own narrative, this will be your reading on being your authentic self. So right off the bat, pile number 1, I get the impression that maybe for some of you growing up, you might have been somewhat in a dynamic possibly within your family, or that won't necessarily be for all of you. For some of you, this may even be something related to school, or like if you grew up in a religious environment or something like that, or within some sort of like institution or something that was quite controlling and domineering, and where you had to kind of behave or like live up to someone else's projections onto you, or what they projected that they wanted you to be like, or how, like who they thought you were, or how they saw you, what they wanted you to do. Maybe, you know, there were certain hobbies or certain subjects they wanted you to study, or like certain or even just like certain behaviors. Like maybe there were certain things that you really wanted to do, like maybe you really loved playing outside or something and being really free and running around and getting dirty or something and being a bit of a tomboy or something like that, and you had a parent maybe, or even an older sibling, or someone somewhere in your environment somewhere along the way that was like, no, that's like really unladylike to behave like that, or that's, you know, like girls don't do that, or you know, whatever it might be. That's just an example, but you know, you get the idea that it's kind of like there was someone in your life, or some conditioning somewhere along the way that tried to kind of control you, I feel like, and was quite domineering. And I don't necessarily feel like it was coming from a really malicious place. I kind of get the impression that possibly, you know, these people, whoever was doling out this kind of conditioning or this control, like they in turn had been controlled perhaps by their family. And this is not to kind of like justify it or anything. It's just to say that, like, I don't feel like they were deliberately trying to take your power away, or kind of like maliciously and with like evil intent kind of like telling you who to be, and like, you know, you had to live up to their kind of maybe very strict standards or certain ideas of who you should be, or certain ideas of, say, you know, a job or career, or like I said, like things that you had to study at school or something along those lines. It's like there were sort of strings attached somewhere where they were trying to parent you or trying to school you, if it was in the case of, say, teachers, or trying to guide you if it was in the case of, say, you know, some sort of religious structure. But it was a bit misguided for you. It wasn't what you needed. It really wasn't the freedom that you needed to be your true self. And so I feel like you're coming into a new chapter now where you're taking back that control of your narrative. You're realizing that you can't like go back and sort of redo your past, but you can take control now and write your story going forward. You can cut those ties, you can cut those cords. So maybe I'm seeing some of you perhaps doing like some cord cutting or something like that could be really helpful. There's plenty of cord cutting meditations on YouTube, or even just doing something like writing. You could write a letter and burn it or something like that, like not necessarily send it to the person unless you feel called to, but this is more about doing a little ritual for yourself, like doing something for yourself where you're like, okay, I'm taking my power back now. Like you no longer have the right to have the reins over my life and my story, unless of course you are like legally still a child. And I hope you're not. I hope you're an adult watching this. But if you are, and I feel like we've got the number 22 here, so some of you may be 22, or you may be in your 20s, maybe even into your 30s, something like that. But you're now taking control of your narrative. And like, even if you moved out of home, a long time ago, you moved away from that environment that was controlling, or that, those, whatever that say belief system was, or the schooling that you had, or whatever it might be. And I just saw 555 on the clock, which is all about change. So yeah, I feel like you've changed your environment. You've gone through change. You've done what you needed to take yourself out of that situation. But I feel like maybe up until this point, perhaps there's still been some like almost like tiny thin threads kind of still somewhat trying to steer you. It's like subconsciously maybe you are like, there's been certain decisions that you've made that have been somewhat influenced by this person having like, it's like a kind of, I'm getting like a puppeteer energy. It's like kind of really kind of maybe, and again, I don't feel like this is malicious. I feel like maybe you would go to this person and say like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this at university or something, or college, I'm thinking about studying this, or I'm thinking about doing this job or this career or something. And they're like, no, I really think you should like stick to XYZ. Like, say for example, you want to do something more artistic, like writing, or, something a bit more creative or something. And they're kind of like, oh, you're not going to make money doing that. Like, I really think you should go and actually, you're really good at science. Like you should go and do science. Or, like maybe you thought about taking up a certain hobby or something, and they're like, no, you should really do sports. Like you need to do something to exercise. Or it's that kind of thing where it's just kind of misguided is what I'm getting. It's like there's this control where they think they're trying to maybe be helpful, or they think they're kind of like, it's like a parent with a little toddler, like, okay, I'm going to put you here and like, I'm going to kind of guide you to walk this way, but it's like they're still doing it. And somehow there's still that impact that it's having on your life. And I feel like now that you're an adult, like you have the right, you have the choice to like cut those ties. And it's not to say like, oh, you've got to walk away from everyone in your past or anything like this. We're not saying kind of, like shut the door on everyone and everything that happened in the past or everything they said was bad, you've got to throw it out. It's like, it's just more about you stepping into your authentic self, taking control of your narrative, taking control of the stories that you tell yourself about who you really are, of what you're capable of what your potential is, of what you want to see in your life. I see some of you maybe doing like scripting or something. We've got this figure, she's dancing on top of an open book here. And I feel like this is spirit saying, or your guide saying, like, you have a blank page now. Like you get to write your own narrative. You get to write your own story of your own life. You don't have to live the way someone else told you to, however many years ago or decades even it could be, it's never too late to do this work, by the way. Like even if you did leave home like 20 years ago or something, it's not too late to start like taking back the control of your narrative, even if there's been, still subtle connections maybe, or like, maybe still some subconscious things going on where you kind of still feel a little bit like, oh, I should do what that person kind of, maybe like, it could be that there was some sort of coercive, what I'm picking up is like coercive control. And that could be still going on a little bit in your subconscious, with those sort of thin strings kind of thing, like holding you, and you're kind of like still kind of doing things a little bit. And in some aspect of your life, it could be to do with, your job. It could be to do with, your, say if you're a parent, how you parent. It could be to do with, like if you're a student, like what you're studying, or any number of things. But I feel like it's a lot to do with like your self-expression, being true to who you really are. We've got the sodalite crystal here. This was the crystal linked with your pile, and this is linked with the throat chakra, which is all about expressing your truth, being true to who you are, being able to express your own needs, being able to stay true to your own path, being able to creatively express yourself. So this crystal could be very healing for you as you go through this journey of taking control of your own narrative. So if that resonated, let's move on to the qualities and sort of archetypal energy that is part of like who you truly are. So let's have a look. Whoa, that absolutely flew out. Oh my goodness, I love this. Artemis, she of the wild mercy. Yes, exactly. So yeah, there's this part of you that like wants to be wild, wants to be free. Like Artemis, she was a goddess who, or she is a goddess who, she's very much in her own nature. She's just true to who she really is. She's out in the wild. She's like connected with nature and the moon and like the elements and the earth. And she listens to her own instinctual self. She's got very strong, like almost like animal instinct. She can survive in the wild. She doesn't need to be around other people. She's not really like a goddess who like works in groups or like needs to kind of like get, feedback from anyone else. She's just her own person. She's her own authority is what I'm getting. So I feel like with mercy as well, this might be kind of saying like, maybe having mercy on what happened in the past, like sort of, releasing and forgiving, letting go, kind of cutting those energetic ties, and moving forward from that situation. We can see Artemis is like facing this way. She's facing away from that, that control or domineering situation that happened to you. So there's this new energy coming through where you can connect with like your wild, true, authentic self and go forward from here. So let's have a look at, we're going to have a look at the Celtic Spirit Oracle to get some more energy of who your true self is. These card ones, we've got two that came out. So we've got the Morrigan with card number 24 with power, courage, and strength. Beautiful. I love this. Yeah, this energy is like so opposite to this energy, This energy, she's just got so much power, so much confidence, so much like, also I feel like she's very protected. She's sort of shrouded in this cloak here. So I feel like moving forward, you're going to be very protected. You're going to be able to stand in your power. You're not going to have to like listen to anyone else anymore or do anything the way other people told you should, or again, whether that's a hobby, a career, whatever it might be, it's like, no, like you've got the power to take control. You've got the power to write your own story. You've got the power to co-create your reality. You don't need to do things the way this person told you should. Like you're an adult now. Like you don't need to obey that person anymore. You have the right to respectfully, it doesn't have to be like a huge standoff necessarily, unless you want to, but like, it can just be a very subtle thing where you just take back that power. You could just do this all very quietly, just take that authority back, like do a quiet, cord cutting meditation or something like that. And you don't even need to make a big announcement necessarily. You just say, okay, I choose to forgive you. That's that mercy energy, not to say that what they did was okay, not to, say like, oh, well, don't worry about it. What's in the past is in the past. No, it's like to give that power and strength back to yourself. It's just about bringing that energy back to yourself so that all the energy is not going to that person. It's very, you can see with this cloak, it's like very contained. It's like you're finding your courage, you're finding your strength to like really know yourself and go your own way. And then we've got master of the hunt with speed, masculinity, and flow. So yeah, I feel like this is just confirmation that it's very linked with that Artemis energy, because Artemis is goddess of the hunt. And she's got a bow and arrow here as well. And like I said, she's very connected with that instinctive sense of like, you know, being able to set her sights on a target and go after it. And I feel like there are certain dreams that you want to go after, Pile One. There are certain things that you want to see show up in your narrative, or want to see show up in your story, or want to co-create with spirit to, you know, create in your life, to see happen in your life. And you have the power and the strength to do that, but it's just going to require like cutting that energy from that person or from that situation or that group or that belief system, you know, finding that from within, really getting that courage from within to walk your own path, to go to hunt after what you want, to really, it's like you really got to take that, it's like that kind of divine masculine energy of like going after, you know, taking action after the things that you want to, you know, like initially having that feminine energy of going within and working out what is true to you, you know, working out what your needs are, what your dreams are, taking back that narrative, you know, maybe doing some stream of consciousness journaling to connect with that part of you that has some ideas of like certain things that you really want in your life, and then embodying that divine masculine energy to like quickly go after what it is that you really want. You don't need to hold back anymore. There's like no, I feel like once you take this power back, there's no delay with the things that you want to manifest, or the dreams that you want to go after, or the things that you want to create in your life. It's like you are the screenwriter of your life, or you're the script writer of your life. Like you can make yourself the main character now. You don't have to be like controlled by someone else or anything anymore. Let's have a look at, I'm gonna get some cards for some of the energy that you, fertility, beautiful. Yes, and we've got Leo energy here. So Leo is all about like shining your light, like being courageous and confident to like step into who you really are. And with fertility, I feel like you have a lot of like you have the fertility to fertilize the dreams that you really want to see in your life, or you have a lot of like creative potential. There's a lot of like juicy creative potential within you that you can really tap into and harness. I'm seeing the number 29 here, and we had the number 22 on this card. So yeah, again, some of you might be somewhere in that age range, or this might be a process that you're really going through in your 20s to kind of like find that courage and strength to like start going after what it is that you really want. Let's get a few more cards to see what your true energy is. Ooh. Gratitude, beautiful. Yeah, so I feel like with this, it's kind of saying about like, I feel like it's linking with that mercy card about like, you know, feeling gratitude for, even though you might have had quite a difficult upbringing, or even though you might have had, you might have felt quite controlled and you didn't feel very free to kind of go in the direction that you want, or, you know, hunt for what you want or go after what you want. There's this energy, beautiful new energy coming in now where if you can feel grateful for all the lessons that you've learned, for like, essentially like, it's almost like I'm seeing, okay, so what I'm getting is you in the future, like your future self being so grateful to the you now, or depending on when it is that you've kind of cut cords with this situation or cut ties with this situation, your future self is so grateful to you that you removed yourself from that, like kind of where you were like being, yeah, like a puppeteer kind of situation where like someone else was sort of telling you what to do. This could also be, I'm just picking up, this could be like a job as well. You might have been just working for a really like domineering boss or something like that in the past, or whatever it is, but there's been some sort of a situation where there was something or someone very domineering, very controlling, and your future self is coming through now to be like so grateful to you that you left that, and that you cut cords with that, and that you had this courage and strength to go your own way is what I'm getting, you know, to shine your own light, like with the Leo there. We've got Gemini energy here, so some of you may have like Gemini or Leo quite strong in your chart somewhere. And Gemini is all about communication. So yeah, I feel like there's something to do with like, yeah, with the sodalite crystal linking with the throat chakra, expressing your truth, being able to express your own needs, being able to be true to yourself, being able to communicate your expression. So with that fertility combined with that energy, it's like, you know, if you've got these creative dreams, if you've got all this creative potential, it's like having the courage and the strength to actually communicate those dreams, to actually express them, to get them out in the world. Really beautiful energy there. So let's have a look at, I'm going to get some tarot cards actually. Let's move into some tarot for more messages from your inner self on how to come home to your true self. Wow. Okay, we've got 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, so this might be a process that takes a bit of time. It might be something that maybe you've already done certain steps to kind of go after the things that you want, or you feel like you've, you know, put boundaries up, or you've walked away from a certain situation and you're kind of like waiting for the next step, or you're waiting for your manifestations to kind of come to fruition, because the 7 of Pentacles card can sometimes talk about like patience for divine timing, or for like, you know, if we look at this in the context of she's looking at the grapes, it's like, you know, the turning of the season. Sometimes there's a season for like, you know, planting seeds, and then there's kind of a period of time where you just have to wait for like the sun and the elements to do their thing, and then over time it'll grow, and then eventually when the grapes are really ready, then you can pick them. So I feel like it's kind of saying like this taking back of your narrative is going to be a bit of a process. It's going to take a little bit of time. So just, you know, be gentle with yourself as you give yourself the time and patience you need before, you know, the things that you're going after might start showing up in your life. Let's have a look. Woo, came out fast. Oh, we've got 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, so some kind of scarcity, some kind of like looking for like shelter, looking for support, looking for your tribe, looking for your community, looking for friends, you know, or true family, soul family, for true nurturance, you know, the right people around you, the right sort of care, or the right sort of support, or some kind of even like financial support or something. There's something around scarcity, but coming out in reverse, I feel like again, it's a bit of a process. It's going to take some time, but that scarcity energy is going to drop away for you as you come into your true self and take back control of your narrative. Because I feel like if you've been sort of operating under someone else's, like trying to do things in your life just to say impress someone else, or to live up to someone else's expectations or projections, or like someone who is, say, controlling you or subtly manipulating you to be a certain way, that would have led to you feeling very out in the cold, because it's like you're never really going to please that person, right? Because that person in turn, like they've had things, you know, that they've had sort of some kind of abuse done to them, and in turn that, you know, they're carrying on that cycle, and they're lashing out because they're acting out in this way because they're trying to look for something in a very misguided way, or they're trying to get their needs met through controlling someone else. It's just very unconscious behavior. Again, you know, release, forgive, not to say that behavior was correct, but just to say, let's take the energy back, let's take the power back, you know, let's come into our own strength and move forward from that place, you know, and letting go of that scarcity energy, of that thinking that there's like not enough, you know, support to go around. Like maybe that was, you know, a misguided, conditioning that you had growing up. Like, say, for example, you wanted to do something really creative, like write or something like that, and there was just a lot of conditioning around, like, you know, oh, you'll never make it doing that, you'll never have enough money, you'll always be poor, like, you know, the whole poor artist thing or something along those lines, you know. And I feel like you're just kind of like, I'm like, whatever I was conditioned, whatever beliefs that were ingrained into me, whatever little subtly controlling things that this person tried to project onto me, like, I'm letting go of all of that. Like, that's not gonna, you know, you're taking your power back. Like, that's not gonna control you anymore. That's not gonna be what dictates your life. That's not gonna be the story of your life anymore. Let's get one more. And one more card for pile 1. Beautiful. 3 of Pentacles. Okay, I feel like is this, yes, upright. I feel like this is upright. I feel like this is saying you're coming into a period now where, yeah, she's wearing the green dress, which is linked with the heart chakra, which is all about doing something you love. And funnily enough, she's got a paintbrush here, which is we've been talking about creative expression through all of this. So there's something around like you starting to get to work on what you want to create. Like, what do you want to make? What do you want to write? What do you want to paint? What do you want to put out in the world? What do you want to express? What do you want to do as part of your work? You know, because pentacles can be to do with manifesting and crystallizing things on the earthly plane. So, you know, that can speak of, you know, what you do for money, what you do for stability, what you do for security, you know, or just what do you want to bring into physical form? Like, you know, what do you want to make, essentially, you know. And we see these people standing back. It's interesting. We've got this energy of these two people just standing back and watching you, you know, because I feel like you are stepping into this period where you're really shining your light. We've got this yellow pentacle here. Again, so the yellow is linked with the solar plexus, which is all about shining your light. And we had that with the Leo symbol as well. So you're stepping into this time now where you're not listening to what other people have been telling you about what you should do or how you should act or who you should be or what job you should do or whatever, or, you know, your beliefs, whatever it is. You're just like, no, I'm creating my own story. I'm writing my own narrative here. I'm going to make what I want to make. This is my life. I'm, you know, if I want to create something, if I want to work a part-time job, as long as, you know, like you're meeting your needs or whatever, you know, who cares what these other people have said? It's like, if I want to, you know, as long as I'm being safe and putting a roof over my head and have food, then like if I want to do something a bit different and have time, you know, in the evenings or something, say you do a part-time job in the morning and then you've got time in the afternoon and evenings to do your craft, whatever that might be, you know, you're doing that. You're really doing that. I see you really doing that, and you're loving it with that green energy. This is, you know, that again, that fertility energy, that creative, fertile energy, and you really love it. You're really loving this new phase in your life. You're letting go of all that scarcity, all that like lack of support, lack of warmth, you know, just negative conditioning or scarcity conditioning or whatever. You're letting go of all of that. So let's finish off. I've got a few cards to end with in terms of guidance of how to come home to yourself. So we'll start with the creative consciousness healing and we've got a few cards related to some rituals that you can do. So let's start off with this one. Creative consciousness healing. Woo! That one came out. Oh, I love this. Schedule. Creating a relationship with time, card number 30. I feel like this is kind of saying, linking with what I was just saying with the Three of Pentacles about maybe you do something, you schedule your time a little bit differently. Like you do something different, you know, where you work in the mornings, you know, maybe if you have the option to work from home or if you're fortunate enough to have something like that. Or even if you still have a 9-to-5 job or whatever it might be, it's like scheduling some time in the evenings or weekends or something to allow yourself to do this creative work, to allow yourself to express yourself, to do your writing or your painting or your craft or whatever it might be. It's like you've got to actually, again, it's coming back to this masculine energy. It's like carving out the time to go after what you really want. Like, you know, having that discipline with yourself, you know, maybe, I don't know, going out for drinks a little bit less, or like watching Netflix a little bit less, or like if you have to put in a schedule with your partner or something so they look after the kids if you've got kids, or for one night a week or one morning a week or whatever is your time that you feel the most creative. You know, some people are night owls, some people are morning. We're not going to get into debate about that because everyone's different. So whatever works for you, you know, like, you know, figure out when is best. And you may need to experiment a little bit, you know. And it may be looking at something like, I'm hearing some of you dropping back your hours a little bit at work. Like instead of being full time, you're like, actually, maybe I can budget to make it work that I can do 4 days a week instead of 5 days a week, so that I can have one day as my like creative time to like make what I want to make, or start a business or write a book or whatever it might be. You know, it could be something like that. So it's playing with your schedule a bit is something that is being called for here in order to be able to go after what you really, really want yourself. Let's get one more. Whoa, that came flying out. Pink seeds, growth under the surface. I love this because this is confirming what I was saying with the Seven of Pentacles about having that patience, because there is growth. Like whatever you've been doing to try and you know, walk away from that situation, to heal from that situation, it's like you may not see the results just yet, or you may not see how brilliant your life is going to be, is what I'm hearing, just yet. There's still, like, you have been growing, but a lot of this has been somewhat under the surface. A lot of this has been in your happening sort of subconsciously maybe, or just outside of your conscious awareness. And like I said, it's kind of this very subtle thing, I feel like, for you, Pile One, where it's like you're not necessarily doing some big, huge announcement or big fight with someone, or big, like, you know, kind of parade in your honor to be like, right, I'm taking my power back. I just feel like it's this very subtle thing that you've been working on over time, and you've been kind of chipping away, making little pivots here and there. Start, like, just a little bit less putting up a little bit more putting up boundaries energetically, a little bit more cutting cords energetically, a little bit more listening to your true self, slowly but surely pivoting from kind of being controlled by that situation or that person or those beliefs towards, like, you know, growing into like who you really are, and finding that courage to go after what you really want is what I feel like. So this is something that you're going to start to see, the flowers are going to start to sprout very soon. But there's just this little period now where you're just growing, but it's not to say that there isn't growth, and it's not to say that manifestations aren't going to come in. It's just all about that timing and having that patience with yourself, you know, being gentle on yourself as you're growing, as you're coming up through the surface. So let's get a few more. We've got the beautiful illustrated Herbery cards here. So let's get some more guidance for Pile One. Whoa. Okay. Tap your resources. Oh, I love this, with this hearth space, with the fire, again, with the fiery energy, you know, linking with the creative energy, linking with that creative potential, that creative fertility. You have all the resources that you need within you. I feel like this is saying, like, you have everything you need to create what you want. This is a very creative energy, this hearth, you know, it's like pulling on everything, you know, even like alchemizing things that you've been going through into like creating your new story. So maybe, you know, you use some of your experiences to, you know, write a song or write a book or like do some artwork or something like that. It's like all alchemizing. You know, like cooking is an alchemical process. It's like taking raw ingredients and then, you know, it all alchemizes to make something completely different. So it's like, regardless of whatever you've been through in the past, it's like you're taking everything you've learned, you're taking everything and then kind of working with it, molding it, cooking it. I see some of you may be molding clay or something. So some of you may be very, artistic in that way. Like you're physically making something, sculptures, painting, something like that. Others of you may be writing, but I do feel like it's kind of working with that creative potential. And, you know, like we said with the sodalite, expressing yourself in some way, you know, but you're going through a phase of like just working with that raw potential, tapping your resources, tapping that creative fertility and seeing what grows from there. So let's finish up with, we've got a goddess card. So we're going to get the goddess that is overseeing this process. Oh, beautiful. Anya, goddess of love. I love this. And look at this, you guys. Look at the dress. Look at how similar the dresses are. This is such a great synchronicity. They're almost identical. They've both got like this lime green with a dark green. So yeah, love. You are going to love your new life. You're going to love this new beginning, this new narrative that you're writing for yourself. You're going to, you know, and I feel like with the wheel in the background, I feel like that's a symbolic of like the wheel is turning. Don't worry, things are changing. Seasons are going to, you know, change. You know, there's going to be a period after no growth, or just having to be patient, having to wait for things to come about. There's going to be new beginnings coming through for you. And this new beginning is going to be something you really love. And with that horses to me are symbolic of like movement and momentum. So it's like you're going to start to go after. You're going to have the energy, the momentum, the drive, that divine masculine energy, as we talked about with the master of the hunt, to go after what you want, to tap your resources and really go after what you really love to do. So that is really beautiful energy. And get a goddess dream card to see if there's any more guidance from this goddess Anya. Woo, hold on, it's falling on the floor. I love this. More Leo energy. We've got the lion, more fire element energy, passion, burning with life's passion. Exactly, finding your passions. We've got fire here, we've got burning here. So yeah, what are you passionate about, pile one? Get back to that, even if you have to create some kind of schedule there to find the time to be able to do your passions, to do the things you're passionate about. Don't let other people tell you what you should do. Don't let other people control you or control all of your time. Like, sure, maybe you need to still go to a job and you have certain responsibilities and certain things within that job where, like, yes, you've got to kind of be a bit of a corporate puppet or something for your 9 to 5. But when you're out of that, like, tapping back into that fire energy, that's going to really like light you up and give you energy to move forward and like create the life that you really do want. So I'm going to finish up with, we've got some little baby angel cards here, so I'm going to finish up with a couple. So this one wants to come out. Love this. Play. Exactly. Yeah, I feel like this is something that you maybe weren't allowed to fully do. And we've got the sun here, again symbolic of Leo energy and solar plexus energy. So yeah, just really giving yourself time to creatively play. As I said with this 3 of Pentacles, it's like, getting your paintbrush out again, or getting, your notebook and pens, different colored pens or something, having some fun, or like getting outside. We can see these figures are like playing with a beach ball, I think that is there by the sea, these little fairies. So like, what does play, like, ask your inner child for guidance. What do you want to do that connects with that energy of play? Because that creative energy is going to give you that like fertilize ideas for you to use, that you can actually use in some way. I feel like it's going to give you like, it's going to help you unlock the resources that you need. It's like you've got a lot of creative potential there, pile number 1, a lot of creative energy that you need to express, and like just let yourself express it through play in some way. So that's so cute. Let's get one more. Okay, this one wants to come out, and purification. Okay, yeah, so I feel like this is maybe linked with just the letting go of the past. There may need to be a bit of a ritual or something, possibly even like doing something like a salt bath could be very helpful to, you can ask the element of water as you unplug the plug to like purify your energy and take all the energy from, this person or the situation or whatever it might be, letting it go, purifying yourself. Again, like cord cutting if you feel you need that, or protecting your energy, doing what you need to sort of purify your energy, purify your space, protect your energy, come into the energy that is truly you. Because I feel like that you have this beautiful creative energy at your core, but there's maybe been, some like negative influences that have kind of been somewhat holding you back or something. So there's a need to kind of like purify that energy out of your life. So putting up those boundaries if you need, maybe, releasing some of this, and that if there's been some hurts to your inner child, like releasing some of that energy through, if emotions come up, we've got rain here. So like letting that go. You don't have to necessarily, like I said, you don't have to have a big showdown with the person or the group or the whatever, unless you feel called to. This can be a very private thing. You can sort of, like I said, maybe writing a letter or something from your inner child, and then maybe putting it in water or something. I'm getting strong like water energy. So doing sort of purification rituals using water could be very helpful. Let's get one more to finish. Okay. Inspiration. Oh my goodness. And this person is painting. I love the synchronicities in your pile number 1. Oh my goodness. Just like in this card, she's like created a painting of the sun. Beautiful. So more sun energy, more solar energy, more creative confirmation about how creative you are. So I'm just gonna leave that there because we're finishing anyway. Don't know why I'm trying to tidy up. So yeah, you're burning with creative inspiration. It's time to play with that energy, get back to your passions. You've got a lot of creative resources you can use. Let go of anything, purify your energy, purify your space, let go of anything that hasn't been serving you, let go of that old story, things people have told you, negative beliefs, scarcity beliefs, whatever it might be, like, oh, you'll never make it with that painting malarkey you do, whatever you've been told, just let it all go, like wash it all down the bath, and trust your inner child to guide you to the things that you're really passionate about. Let yourself play, let yourself be creative, and just see what comes out of that. You just never know where it might lead. Okay, my lovely pile number 1s, I feel like that's all the messages I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment in the box below. I always love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear. You don't have to share anything you're not comfortable to, of course, but I'd love to hear how it resonated if you feel comfortable sharing that. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this reading. It helps tell me what content you're resonating with at the moment. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to be part of the Els Temple community, and the notification bell so you will receive notifications when I next upload. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. All the best with coming home to your authentic self, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi there, pile number 2. If you chose the Sunstone Crystal, or card number 23, with confidence, it comes with time and practice. This is going to be your reading on coming home to your true self. So pile number 2, the energy that I pick up on here for you is that your true self is a real go-getter and someone who really is very confident in who they are. I feel like with the sword energy here, I'm sort of picking up like swords are related to your thoughts or the mental body, or ideas, decisions, having a lot of clarity, being really like clear about who you are and what you're going after, what you want to pursue. So I get the impression that like at the core of who you really are clear, and you really are confident in like who your true self is, what you want to go after, what ideas you want to put out there. I feel like you actually have at your core quite a like feisty energy is what I'm picking up. It's really beautiful energy. However, I feel like maybe some things have happened in your life to somewhat like cloud the sun of who you really are, which is possibly why you've been drawn to this sunstone. Sunstone crystal helps you to shine your true light, to like draw on that like solar energy, that sun energy, to feel comfortable just being very bright. And I feel like you are a very bright person, like intellectually you have a lot of intelligence or strong ideas, even if it's not sort of conventional intelligence or conventional sort of intellect, and like a sort of a convention, sorry, let me try that again. Even if you don't have a kind of conventional intellect, you still are actually very intelligent. You have a lot of ideas, you have a lot of good ideas. You you have a very unique way of expressing yourself. I'm picking up kind of Aquarius energy, so some of you may have Aquarius in your chart, sun, moon, rising, or north node, something like that. But I just feel like maybe there's been something happened in your life possibly to like dim your confidence, or something's happened to make you kind of like close yourself off to the world, like not feel as good as maybe other people, or not feel like you are as intelligent, or that your ideas are as worthy of being heard, or that you are as worthy of kind of shining your light in the same way, or taking up space as other people. You can see this figure is sitting on a train and she's got her knees like held up to her chest, and it's sort of like this energy of being very small. It's like creating, she's not really taking up space. It's like she's kind of shrinking herself. So there may have been or you may still be in some patterns of like playing very small or shrinking yourself in order to either fit in, or almost like, I'm hearing like tall poppy syndrome, which is something that it's funny bringing this up because it's a Kiwi phrase, and might possibly be something that if you're from Australia or somewhere else in the Southern Hemisphere, you may have heard this phrase. But it's the idea that like if you try and be big or be bold or stand up above the rest, or like, you know, show your intelligence, that you're being a show off, and that like that's a tall poppy. And there's this phrase called tall poppy syndrome, which is where there's this sort of energy of like, oh, we've got to cut all the tall poppies down so that we can get everyone to fit in with the mold. We want everyone to kind of be the same. Like it kind of stems from this idea of being very egalitarian, which at its heart is coming from a good place. But in reality, what that can end up playing out like is that you may have found, perhaps as a child or a teenager or something, if you tried to share your ideas, or, you know, share some sort of something that, you know, you created with some form of intelligence, you know, whether it's a piece of writing, you know, you just maybe had some very intelligent ideas about something. I'm seeing someone doing something at a science fair or something that's very specific. It might just be one person, but maybe you tried to somehow like stand above the rest in some way. Like maybe you did have a superior intellect, or you do have a superior intellect, and when you tried to present that to the world or to your school or to your family or whatever it might be, it got like the tall poppy syndrome thing happened. Like you got cut down. It was like, oh, stop being too big for your boots, or like you think you're, you know, who are you to say that you've got the best idea or whatever. Like no, like get back in your box, like be small. There was some sort of messaging. I mean, it probably wasn't like exactly like that. It probably wasn't like be small, but you get the idea. It's like there was some sort of communication that happened, some sort of something that made you feel like you needed to be small to fit in, I feel like, or you needed to, it's like you kind of gradually over time became more timid, I feel like. But in actual fact, your true self, I feel like, is very confident and is very intelligent and does have a lot of good ideas to share. So if that resonated at all, let's move on. That's an indication that this is your reading. You found the right pile. So let's move on and pull some cards. I've already pre-shuffled these, so we're just going to get straight into it and get some cards on what your true energy, your true authentic self. Let me have a card for pile 2. Woo! Moonlit dance, feminine energy, beautiful. Yeah, I feel like the energy of these two figures is completely the opposite. This person is kind of like hands around their legs drawn up to their chest, kind of trying to cover their body up, trying to be very small and clamp down. This energy is very open. It's very receptive, very feminine, arms up, right up and open, you know, sort of hip jutted out. It's like really like taking in the world. It's like, yes, I'm here up for all of it. Like, what wisdom do you want to bring me? You know, what can I bring through my body? Like, what am I feeling? What do I feel like doing? Like, what is my creative energy telling me? It's very like beautiful, open, sensual energy. It's very passionate energy. It's like going with the flow of what you feel like doing and having the like sort of confidence and courage to just like like tap into that sort of sensual energy, that like inner fire, and see what that, you know, where that may lead. So that is very beautiful, like archetypal energy, very feminine energy. Maybe some of you might be dancers as well with moonlit dance. There could be something around dancing that could either be something that you do or something that could be very healing for you. It could be something that could help you sort of break out of your shell a little bit, or break out of that like energy of trying to keep yourself contained and trying to keep yourself small and kind of held back, kind of, because it's almost like physically the way she's kind of sitting there. It's like maybe you might notice yourself, you know, your posture might be quite like hunched in kind of thing, or you may have your arms crossed across your chest quite a lot, or you may sit with your knees up. you may sort of convey an energy to other people of like, you know, oh, don't bother me, don't ask me, I'm too small, I don't really know, like I'm not good enough yet, or something like that. It's like a kind of very timid energy that you may be putting out. But I feel like your true self, your true authentic self wants to be really open, wants to be really like here I am, like this is me, this is my true self, like blah, and kind of like just free enough and bold enough and courageous enough to just kind of like dance in the moonlight and wear a little dress, or you know, whatever it might be, you know, whatever you like to wear, just something that's really comfortable and flowing, and kind of, you know, be really open and just tapping into that like very spontaneous energy is kind of what I'm getting. So very beautiful energy. Let's get a little bit more on your core energy. Who is pile 2 at their core? What guidance do you have? Woo, it's flying out. Oh, I love this. The green fairy, mischief, freedom, reckless. Yes. Yeah, I feel like this is kind of this similar energy to this moonlit dance, the feminine energy. It's very like, yeah, I feel like your true self wants to be really free. It wants to just have the freedom to kind of go with the flow and do what you feel like. And maybe if that's being a bit mischievous and like kind of being a bit cheeky, or doing something that's very sensual, that's just like, you know, for your own pleasure, or like, you know, just maybe like being bold enough to, yeah, like maybe start some new hobby, like starting up some kind of dancing, or like traveling somewhere, or, you know, doing something that, you know, previously you might have thought of as like, oh no, I couldn't do that, like I'm not confident enough to do that. But like actually there's this like this mischievous green fairy inside you that wants to kind of break out and be like, yes, let's like embrace life, like that real kind of carpe diem energy, like you only live once, like, you know, what's the worst that could happen kind of thing. It's like, stop caring. I'm kind of getting this like, don't care so much about what other people think, or let go of that tall poppy syndrome if that's something that you kind of grew up with, you know, regardless of whether you grew up in the Southern Hemisphere or wherever. That type of energy can often exist in any culture of like, don't stick your head above the rest, like don't try and do something outside of the status quo, or, you know, don't do things as you feel them, you know, you should like, you know, go to school or do the right thing or do the responsible thing or something. But I feel like there's this reckless part of you, this more impulsive, sensual, passionate, bold, confident part of you that wants to break out, that wants to be free, that wants to kind of go with the flow and, you know, kind of show yourself essentially, like really like go, it's like kind of go with the rhythms of where your heart is leading you, because we've got with the color green, this is linked with the heart chakra, which is all about, you know, having love for yourself first and foremost, you know, having, you know, and what does that look like? What does self-love look like to you? You know, what is the most self-loving thing you can do? Like, what do you feel you need? You know, how can you show love and care for yourself? You know, is that taking a moonlit dance? You know, it might literally be that, or is it just, you know, doing something that is a little bit outside of the box, or you know, trying a new hobby, or you know, finding freedom in some way, or doing something a little bit differently. What is something that you would really love to do that maybe you've not felt confident enough or bold enough or like free enough to be able to do up to this point? Because that is like this core energy that's coming through that wants to kind of be expressed. Let's have a look at some of the qualities that you have that are coming through. What qualities does pile 2 have at their core? Whoa, okay. 2, so we've got love. Yeah, we were just talking about love with the heart chakra here. So again, excuse me, like having, you know, what does having love for yourself mean? With that the color red here is linked with the root chakra. So I feel like, yeah, there's something around like maybe letting go of your roots, or letting go of the conditioning that you had, which is a similar message to pile 1, but this is a slightly different energy. I feel like with pile 1, there was a lot more maybe family dynamic abuse, whereas in this pile, I'm getting more just like general societal conditioning. You know, again, maybe if you grew up in the Southern Hemisphere, or like, I don't know, with some kind of cultural conditioning around like, oh, you know, you need to fit in, you need to like pull the status quo, you need to, you know, you can't just go off and be reckless and go traveling, or you can't just, you know, like go and be a public speaker, or, you know, try and think that you're better than other people. Like, no, 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 like stay small, stay down. You know, if you had any kind of conditioning like that, during your, you know, your formative years during schooling, or just generally existing as part of society, right? You know, I mean, that's kind of just fairly generic conditioning that happens anyway, you know, and it's kind of also very primal in the sense that we're social creatures, and we at our core we need approval in a sense. Like psychologically, it's kind of just a primal need, right? And sometimes we can feel that if we go outside of the crowd or do something a bit different, or do something a bit kooky or a bit reckless or something, it's like you're going to get shunned and you're going to get abandoned and you're going to have to like fend for yourself. And it's like this old fear, right? Which is what I'm getting with this root chakra energy. It's like, oh, if I go off and do this, you know, what I really would love to do, or what my heart's telling me, or what is seemingly a bit of a reckless thing, then like, you know, I won't survive. Like I won't have that approval or that validation or that love that I need from, you know, my, like your, you know, the people from your home crowd kind of thing. Your, you know, the people in your community, your original community, your family of origin, or, you know, whatever it might be, your original crew of friends or something, you know. And I feel like you're letting go of that. You're starting to listen to your heart more. Or the way you can come back to your true self is by listening to your own heart more, and letting go of some of that conditioning, letting go of some of that, it's not really control. That was very much pile one. It's just like, it's kind of like having the confidence to go your own path, to be open to the world is kind of what I'm getting. I see some of you like, yeah, wanting to maybe travel or go on a journey, because we've got this figure here on a train or something. So maybe some of you have longed to like travel, or, you know, even if not physically go on a journey or literally go on a journey, but like kind of metaphorically, like move away from conditioning, or move away from something that you know has been some sort of like, yeah, your roots, your home conditioning or something. And then we've got agreement. Interesting. Yeah, we've got, actually, I've just noticed there's Libra energy on both of these cards. So some of you may be Libra sun moon rising, or have Libra very strong in your chart. And I'm picking up with that agreement and Libra, a kind of a people-pleasing energy, where maybe up until this point you've been trying to do things to help, yeah, to essentially like you've been sort of living your life in a way, or doing the types of things that you think will please others. So whether that's within your family group, whether that's within your friendship group, whether that's within like your workplace or within a relationship, whatever it might be, there's just this sort of people pleasing vibe I've got going on. And I feel like there's two numbers, 23. We've got 23 here and 23 here. So some of you may be 23 or in your 20s, but also with the 23 in numerology, this reduces to 5, which is all about change. So I feel like you want to make a change. I feel like you want to kind of break some kind of agreement, like, or agreeable nature within yourself, because your true nature isn't really like that. I don't feel like. I feel like this is something you've been conditioned to do or to behave like. You've maybe witnessed someone in your family being a people pleaser, and you've absorbed those qualities and then gone about your life being very loyal to the people in your community or your home or your environment, you know, your roots, people linked with your root chakra, so your immediate tribe, you haven't wanted to abandon your immediate tribe. So you've sort of lived within the confines of what they've told you. So like I said at the beginning, when I was picking up that vibe of someone maybe being from New Zealand, Australia, something like that, which, hello, if you are, I am as well. Might have had that sort of like tall poppy thing, or like, or even just some sort of a conditioning that has made you want to kind of be really agreeable, or like be loyal. We've got 2 red here. Be loyal to those in your tribe and have, so that they will like you and so that you won't be abandoned, which is, it's a very, like I said, it's totally understandable, pile 2, because it's a very primal need to be liked and survive. But these sort of primal needs are often like unconscious drives, and actually as you bring conscious awareness and bring your, like, come back into connection with your true self, you can consciously create the life that you really want to create, that is true to your true soul self, your true authentic self, that's connected with like your higher self, that's not just driven by your circumstances, your tribe, your immediate upbringing. It's like you have the right, with that sunstone, it's like you have the right to find your true identity and shine your true light. And like what I'm hearing is like, take up space in this world, go from being like this small kind of encapsulated energy where you're kind of keeping yourself, everything in, to being like open and up for like, what does life have to bring? Like, where can I go? What can I do? What do I feel passionate about? What do I want to try? Where would I go if I didn't have to please anyone else? Where would I go if I could just, do what I really wanted to, what my heart is telling me to do? That's what I'm getting through. So that's the energy of kind of what's at your core. Let's have a look at some cards to look at how you can come home to yourself. So we've got the Creative Consciousness Healing deck here. How compelled to... Woo! Okay, Geo, transforming addictive thinking. Interesting. Yeah, so I don't pick up a vibe that, like, don't worry, I'm not sort of getting like, oh, pile 2, you've got some addiction issues, and unless that resonates, in which case I'm sure you're working through that. But what I feel like this is that you have a bit of a I'm being drawn back again to the Libra thing. You have a kind of addiction to people pleasing, or like you have a tendency, a habit to put other people's needs ahead of yours, or what you think other people will like, or kind of trying to please others, or make yourself seem agreeable, or just, oh, if I just play really small, then more people will like me and it'll be okay and I won't get shut out. Because maybe there might have been some kind of trauma that you had in childhood where, like, and this could go back really far. Like, I'm seeing children playing in a sand pit. So maybe when you were really young, like kindergarten age or something, you were like playing and you were just being your true self and taking up space and being like this, like, woo, like dancing around in the sand pit or whatever it was. And some bully kid was like, oh, like, you suck. Like, what are you doing? Like, you should just go and be ashamed of yourself. Was, whatever. 3-year-olds probably don't talk like that at all, but you know what I mean? Like, in whatever 3-year-old speak was enough to make you kind of, ooh, like, it could have just been one incident. It could have been a series of incidents. It could have been a whole bunch of things that happened throughout your childhood. It could have been something within your family, within your school, within your environment. I'm not really sure, but I do pick up that maybe there was some kind of trauma that's created like a fear that's then created this addictive pattern of like, I need to fit in, like I will be outcast, or I'll be ostracized, or like I won't be accepted if I'm my true self, or if I'm, excuse me, this like expansive self. So there's some sort of, like pattern, there's some kind of pattern around people pleasing. I feel like that's like, that needs to be released maybe, so that you can move forward and be free and like, be in that more mischievous, feisty, like more powerful energy, confident energy, feminine energy. Like, what do I want to experience in the world? Like, what are my passions, and like, how do I feel about going after this, or maybe I should travel here, or like just, more free flowing energy, I feel like. So there's some sort of addiction there. Let's get one more of these. I feel like there might be another, excuse me, is there another card for pile 2? Woo! Oh, I love this. Pink lion protecting little you. Oh, that is so sweet. Yeah. Yes, I feel like this is coming back to what I was saying about maybe some of the trauma and like you've been kind of keeping yourself small in order to protect little you because there was maybe something in your childhood that meant it didn't feel safe to like be a bit more reckless or be a bit more free or be a bit more mischievous or a bit more cheeky or a bit more feisty or challenge the status quo or just do something a bit different or, you know, go traveling or whatever it might be. It's like there's some sort of agreement maybe that you made as a child to like keep yourself safe, that you would be kept safe by keeping small and not being confident in who you really are. But I'm seeing all these daisies here, and daisies are all about being yourself. You know, they really are like a flower of just like being your true self, being your authentic self, showing up as your authentic self. And I feel like your little one is wanting, like your inner child is kind of coming to say like, it is safe now. Like you're not in that situation anymore where you need to keep small. Like I feel like you've moved on from that. Maybe you've moved away from home or you've moved away from that tribe or that group of friends. Hopefully you've made different friends since that kindergarten bully who was telling you off in the sandpit. You know, so like there's the possibility of creating, you know, a better tribe, like a soul tribe, like true people to support you. And you know, you don't have to be left out in the cold. You don't have to be rejected, or, you know, you can be like open and receptive to new people coming in, new support, new energies, you know, the right kind of love that's actually supportive. So like you don't need to kind of keep yourself small anymore. You can be this lion. You can roar the way this lion does. You know, lions are linked with Leo energy, which is all about, you know, like being confident, being bold, being brave, being courageous, shining your true light, taking up space, you know, taking center stage. Like, you know, you have that within you. I feel like deep down, it might be very, very buried for some of you. You'll all be at a different stage of this journey if you resonate with any of this. Let's get a botanical card to see if there's any other messages for pile. How you can get back to your authentic self. How can pile 2 get back to their center and ground? Red clover, and we've got a heart here. Yeah, so more heart chakra, as I mentioned, with the green fairy and the color green being linked with the heart chakra. Yeah, what is your heart telling you? What does your heart want to do? Centering back into the center of who you really are and grounding your own energy will help you like find that courage to like create that freedom in your life and go after what you really want to. Like centering your, yeah, I'm just seeing, this is interesting. I'm speaking about the root chakra with the tomato there with the color red. And we've got here this like roots, all these trees, all these roots here, and then in the heart. I feel like what you need to do, that sounded really bossy then for some reason. I'm sorry, I'm channeling, so this is what's coming through from your guides. This is not me, the human that is me telling you this. This is what I'm channeling through from your guides to you. So what's coming through is that your guides want you to root into your own heart, not into like your upbringing or the tribe or like your family or conditioning or any of that stuff. It's like you've been, and that's a normal thing, that when you're a child you have to kind of root into that, because that's how you receive, you know, your nurturance from the earth. Like you root into that structure, and that's where you get fed and support and so on and so forth. But like as you're an adult now, like you have the ability to root into your own heart It's your heart that will tell you and lead you to where you want to go. And it's your heart that will give you the love that you want. And then from there, whatever you give to yourself, you'll then attract the right people in who will give you more support and more love to be able to continue on that journey. Oh, that's really beautiful. Okay, I'm going to finish up with a goddess card and another guidance card from the Goddess Dream Oracle to see. Woo! Oh, beautiful. Goddess Asteroid, Goddess of Perseverance, card number 32. And we've got this beautiful woman in very feminine energy playing a harp. So maybe some of you want to play music, or you're a musician, or you wanted to start an instrument or something, or some kind of hobby that your heart is telling you to do that might require a bit of perseverance to like really learn or master. Or this could just be guiding you towards, persevering with coming into the truth of who you really are. She's wearing this blue dress, and blue is linked with the throat chakra, which is all about expressing your true self, expressing your own needs, expressing the truth of who you really are. So there's this guidance coming through of persevering with getting to the truth, getting to the core of who you really are, and then expressing, like singing your tune, singing your song. And that could be literally if you are a singer or you like music, or metaphorically in terms of like just, going out in the world and speaking into existence what you want to see, not people pleasing, not speaking to make people like you, but speaking truthfully about what you like, So this can be little things like, say you meet someone new and they're like, I really like, I don't know, going out. I don't know why I'm getting this example, but like going out drinking on like every night of the week. I just love like having cocktails and like getting really drunk. It's like the best or something. And you're like, yeah, I like that too. And you don't actually, or like maybe you don't mind doing it once or twice a week, but you don't want to do it like every night or something. And it's like little tiny mistruths where you're trying to be in agreement with other people or get other people to like you. And then you're sort of doing like a bit of a disservice to yourself. You're not being true to yourself. And like in the process, your throat chakra, which is the energy center that governs your truth and your expression and your communication, it gets more and more blocked because it's like you're speaking against yourself. It's like not very self-loving. And so like the biggest act of self-love that you can do is to like persevere with like owning your truth. And it might take a little bit of time to get used to that, because with that addictive thinking, I feel like you're really programmed or very conditioned or very, it's a strong habit for you to automatically people please or to automatically go for getting people to like you. It's that very Libra energy of like putting other people's needs before your own. And there's a need to find that balance of like, oh, okay, well, they might like that, or they might want me to do that, but actually what do I need? And, finding your way with that. Not necessarily always doing what other people want or what you think they would like. Centering and grounding in your own being and your own heart. Let's have a Goddess Dream Oracle for further guidance from Goddess Asteroid. Goddess Asteroid. More guidance for Pile 2. Oh my goodness, yes. Well, the cards are all just confirming exactly what I'm saying, which I love. Self-love. Love yourself. Exactly. So Goddess Asteroid is saying persevere with loving yourself. Persevere with being true to yourself. There's a lot of blue and green energy. So both throat chakra and heart chakra healing are called for here, or honoring those centers, honoring your heart, honoring your truth, honoring your wisdom with that owl there. Being just very, again, look at this energy with both of these figures. Their arms are up, they're very open. Eyes are sort of closed, like they're, closed eyes are sort of symbolic of looking inward. So there's this energy of going within to figure out what, who you truly are. Honoring that, going, and also very flowy energy. We've got dolphins here. We've got this sort of like watery energy here. We've got an ocean here in the back. Hopefully you can see that okay. So this is very much like going with the flow, going with that very feminine energy of where your energy is calling you, where your heart is calling you. And dolphins are also symbolic of a lot of like play energy. And they can be symbolic of partnerships. So if you're not already in a partnership, this may be a sign that you're going to align with like a soulmate, like someone who's going to come in and be with you on your life's journey. But I feel like more generally, you're just going to be very... The more you can ground into your own heart and love your true self, the more you can go with the flow of like where this more playful side of you is guiding you, this more mischievous side of you is guiding you, this more like heart-centered side of you is guiding you. Okay, let's finish up with a... Oh, I didn't get any tarot for you. Okay, hold on. I can't give tarot to pile 1 and not for you. Let's get a few tarot cards for pile number 2, and then we'll finish up with an angel card. So, oh, we've got 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like this is that energy of seeking support or seeking warmth and comfort from others. It's that agreement energy, that needing to like go to others to get something, to get that like needs met or something. And I feel like you're going to be turning this around and looking within, you know, like with these figures with their eyes closed, like finding that love from within instead of having that scarcity energy of like, oh, I need to get it from my home or my family or my friends or like my work, or, you know, I need to get that sort of fix from pleasing others kind of thing. It's like you're not going to go around kind of door knocking. And I don't mean that literally. I don't mean like you're literally going door to door trying to find validation, but that energy of like needing something from the outside of you, like not realizing that you have it all within, that everything starts from within, that it starts from how much you love yourself, and you'll align with everything that you need from that place of really loving your true self. Get some, whoa, yes, love this. The full new energy. Again, look how like bold and like kind of, it is that reckless energy again that was coming through from the green fairy. It's like arms up in the air and she's ready to take this step off this precipice. And we've got a boat here, so maybe going on a journey. Some of you might be wanting to go traveling, like I mentioned, or just you're going on a new journey where you're stepping into this like full energy of like seeing where the winds take you, seeing where you want to go. What do you feel like doing? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What's your heart telling you? And like then having the courage and the confidence to be like, just kind of throw your hands up and be like, whoa, yeah, I'm going to go after that. That's what I want. So I love that for you. Pile 2. Pile 2. And let's get one more. Woo! Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't feel like this is coming out. Yeah, no, upright. Okay. This is supposed to be upright. So 6 of Swords, we've got moving on to something a lot better, to much calmer waters. So where you've been in the past, I feel like maybe with all that, with that sort of tendency to people please, you're leaving that behind. You're releasing those old habits, those old ways of being, that has maybe caused a lot of blocks to your throat chakra, a lot of like inner conflict, because the 6 of Swords comes after the 5 of Swords, and the 5 of Swords is a lot to do with conflict, which can be more related to like inner conflict necessarily than having conflict with others. And I feel like you're moving on from that. She's wearing green here, which again is linked with the heart chakra, which is all about love, self-love, doing what you love, going after what you love. So you're moving forward, you're moving to a much better place within yourself. And 1 second, another card dropped on the floor, so whoops, where is it? Yes, we've got 8 of Pentacles. So yeah, I feel like you're moving towards better things in terms of like having that mastery to create what you want to create, to make what you want to make, to work in the field you want to work in, or like live the way you want to live, or have the kind of lifestyle that you want to have. You're going to do that like for yourself. You can see she's wearing this green dress again, so it's like linked with the heart chakra. She's doing what she loves. She's making what she loves. She's creating what she loves. She's living in alignment with like herself, with her self-love. She's mastered herself and what she truly wants. Really beautiful energy, pile number 2. Go you. I love this journey for you. So let's finish up with, we'll get a couple of little angel cards to finish. Okay, so we've got understanding. Yeah, interesting. We've got this figure reading this book here. So like I was saying at the beginning when I was speaking about the sword, I feel like you are very smart, you're very intelligent, you have a good understanding of many things in the world. You actually have so much that you could share already, but you've just maybe been kind of like conditioned to stay small and to not share your wisdom, not share your understanding, not share what you know is what I'm getting. But I feel like you have a very deep understanding of things. You know, I see you like reading a lot of books, or you're just, you have a strong intelligence. You are very clever. And it's time to like, step off that precipice, go towards what you want. You know, if that's like, maybe it's writing a book, or like sharing your wisdom in some way. Maybe it's like starting a social media platform where you share some of your ideas. You know, it's having the confidence to like put yourself out there in some way. Or maybe you want to start a business with 8 of Pentacles that can be, you know, mastering something and like taking it to market. You know, you can see this person, they're in like a shop. So maybe some of you want to sell something that you're making or something like that. So that could be something that is in the future for you. Let's get one more. Oh, it's a blank one. I love that. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of just saying like you can make it up, pile 2. You don't have to be like, you don't have to please other people with that agreement card. You don't have to do something, you know, even if you've agreed to something in the past, like maybe you signed a contract or an agreement with a place of work or a course, and you're like, actually, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do this. I want to be a chef, be a cook, you know, or something. I'm just kind of getting with this person, like mixing something. It looks like, you know, making something, or like, oh, I want to make music, or, you know, I want to go traveling, or, you know, I'm picking up lots of different things. So I hope you get the general idea. These are just examples that are coming through, but whatever it is that your heart is telling you, you know, you've got to persevere with going after whatever it is that you want. And it's like, you've got a blank slate now. Like, you don't have to do anything that other people have told you. You don't have to listen to anyone else. You don't have to, you know, honor any agreement. If you want to get out of it, there's a way to get out of it. You know, as long as you're, you know, being respectful and, you know, doing it in a way that you don't have to kind of like go and, you know, burn bridges. You can just be very like, you know, honest about it. Yeah, it's that, you know, honoring your truth, loving yourself enough to go in the direction that you want to go in, not just doing things to be agreeable, or to like, because you've made an agreement with someone, or because you think they'll like you, or because, you know, that you feel like no one will like you if you leave, or something like that. It's like, they will understand. With that understanding card, it's like, they will understand. If the people who really love you will understand if you want to have this blank slate to create what you want to create. And if they don't, then really you might want to question like why you're going to those people to find love or support, because maybe there's a need to put up some boundaries there and live true to yourself. Go on this journey towards like, loving yourself, and then see who shows up. You'll create a whole new soul tribe of people, the right kind of people who really do understand you, because you're honoring who you really are. You're being true to your true self. So you'll attract people who are on that same vibration, who vibe with that. Okay, I feel like that is all the messages I have for you, pile number 2. I hope that resonated. Leave a comment below if it did. I would love to hear from you. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the reading. It helps tell me what content is resonating at the moment. Hit the subscribe button if you would like to be part of the Elle's Temple community, and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. All the best with coming home to your authentic self, pile number 2, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi there, pile number 3. If you chose the Princess card with You Can Be Your Own Knight or the Adventuring Crystal, this will be your reading all about Be Your Authentic Self, guidance on how to come home to your true self. So pile number 3, straight off the bat, the energy that I get for you is that your true self is an absolute survivor and an absolute fighter. I feel like maybe you've really been through some things in your life, whether it was in your childhood or in relationships or something. Maybe some of you might have been in situations where you felt a little bit trapped before, or a little bit like controlled possibly, or some sort of a situation where maybe you might have been in the past in some sort of like codependent dynamics or something. But I really feel like you're starting to move out of anything like that you've been struggling with in the past, where you've had to essentially kind of subordinate yourself to someone, whether it was a parent or a family member, or a partner or something like that. And you're now going through a phase where you're putting yourself first. You're seeing yourself as number 1 in your life. Like, you're taking back the reins of control. You're rescuing yourself. Like, maybe if you've been trapped in some sort of situation, if it was a toxic relationship or even a toxic home place or something like that, it's like you're freeing yourself, you're rescuing yourself, you're being your own knight. Like, you have the power and the strength to like cut away with that sword here. She's polishing her sword as if getting ready to like cut ties, or cut away something that hasn't been serving her. I'm getting the energy of Rapunzel, where she lets down her hair for the night, but actually in the end she just saves herself. She figures out how she needs to rescue herself, what she needs to do to save herself, what she needs to do to put herself first, how she wants to live her own life. It's like you're really taking back the reins of control, and you're creating sovereignty for yourself and going after what it is that you really want. And I really feel like you have this very, like, at your true self, you have this very feisty or very fiery, like a kind of fighter's energy, a survivor's energy. Like, no matter what you've been through, like, you've got that energy where you're like, no, I'm gonna, get over this. I'm going to get past this situation, whether it was a toxic relationship. And I'm so sorry if you have been through something like that, or especially anything abusive. I really know what it takes to get out of, to really like crawl out of a situation like that. But it takes so much strength that you're going to use to be able to go after what it is that you really want. I feel like with that Knight energy, Knights are all about taking action. So I feel like you have a lot of dreams or a lot of ideas or things that you really want to take action on, but maybe you haven't been able to up to this point because, like I say, maybe you haven't been able to put yourself first. You've had to somehow subordinate your needs to other people, or it could just be something like maybe you have had to be a parent or a caregiver, or like give care to a parent or something like that. And so you've sort of, because of circumstances, you've been forced to subordinate your needs. You've been forced to just, like, you've ended up feeling trapped because you've been in the home taking care of maybe young children, or taking care of an elder parent or something like that. And I just saw 333 on the clock, which reduces to 9. And the number 9 in numerology is a lot to do with like independence and really creating like a foundation for yourself, where you're going after, like, essentially getting to a point where you're aligning with your own truth, and you're having the power to have that like sovereignty to go after what it is that you really want to see in your life, to take action, like with the Knight. So I feel like, yeah, you're taking action on creating sovereignty for yourself. You're taking action on becoming more autonomous, or cutting away a situation that hasn't been serving you, and like escaping something that maybe has been making you feel trapped or controlled or whatever it might be, and you're moving towards more freedom, more power, more sovereignty, having a say over your life. That is essentially what I feel for you at your core. And with that green aventurine here, with the color green, this is linked with the heart chakra. So this is all about really having the courage to like fight for what you really want deep in your heart, like to follow your heart, to go after your heart's desires. And it's also an energy, aventurine energy helps you balance your masculine and feminine energies. So maybe where in the past you might have been perhaps either through the dynamics of relationships or just through your conditioning or something, you maybe have been operating from more of a feminine energy. And by this, we're not talking about gender. This is just energy here. So we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. So regardless of how you identify as male or female, you know, you might be a male in this situation, but you might have been having to operate from a more feminine energy. And now you're moving into a more balanced energy where you're balancing your feminine energy of being in that receptive, intuitive, nurturing energy with that masculine energy of like, what do I want to take action on? You know, how can I be more independent and autonomous in my life? What do I want to go after? What do I want to fight for? You know, what adventures do I want to have? I'm getting this sense that at your true self, at your core, you really want to kind of escape from something. You want to get out of the confines of perhaps your hometown or your house or something you've been stuck in, and you want to see the world. You want to escape. You want to have adventures. You know, like if you think about knights, you know, back in the day in medieval times, the knights were the ones who would, you know, they'd roam the kingdom and they'd have all these adventures and they'd get to travel and see distant lands. And, you know, that wasn't really something that for the women of the day, they didn't really have that opportunity. And maybe because of your culture or conditioning or your relationship dynamics, you haven't in the past been able to like have that power for some reason, or have that independence, or that be that autonomous in your life and self-direct your life. And have that sovereignty to be able to go after what you want, or to travel where you want, or be free to go where you want. It's like maybe there's been something that has been keeping you a bit stuck. But I see you now if you're starting to get to a position where you can put yourself first. And I understand that maybe for some of you, if circumstances don't allow that, if maybe you're, you know, like I said, you might have young children, or you might be a caregiver for someone, and it may be very difficult to kind of actually get out of a situation that you're very, very much trapped in. But I see you starting to just make little pivots, starting to prepare. You know, you can see here this princess, she hasn't quite left the castle yet, but she's got a shield, she's got a sword, and she's cleaning her sword and she's preparing it. So maybe just making little plans, little pivots, little shifts towards like, you know, what you can do in order to find some freedom, find a sense of autonomy, find a sense of self-direction. So if that resonated, let's move on with the portion of the reading where we'll look at like your energy, the archetypal energy that is coming through for your authentic self. And then we'll get into some guidance on how you can come home to yourself with a few other cards towards the end. So let's just start off. I've already pre-shuffled these, but let's just get straight into what archetypal energy is coming. Woo! One came flipping out. Hecate, Queen of the Crossroads, the unknown. Woo! Yes. So I feel like, pop the little flower back there. I feel like maybe some of you have come to some kind of crossroads. Like maybe, like I said, some of you might be leaving a relationship, or you might have left maybe your home where you grew up, or you're kind of weighing up some options, like should I go in that direction or that direction? Do I want to go traveling? Do I want to work? Whatever it might be. It's like you're at some kind of crossroads where you're trying to figure out what your next move is. You're trying to figure out where you want to go, and it's feeling very murky and a bit scary and a bit like, oh, it's the unknown, because maybe you've been in a situation where, you know, you've always lived at home your whole life, or in your same hometown, or, you know, you've always been in the same relationship, and now you've split up from that person, and you're like, oh gosh, like, okay, well, I was going in that direction because that's what we had to sort of plan, but like now I'm kind of free, right? Like now I have the autonomy, now I have the choice, the freedom, you know, I can make the decisions here. I can go in any direction I choose. So like, you're like at this crossroads point, you're at this unknown point where it's like, oh, where do I really want to go next? Where is my heart calling me? What do I want to take action on? So there's a energy right now. The archetypal energy coming through is this Hecate energy, which is this energy of like, you can really tune into your inner wisdom, your inner guide. Your inner guidance will steer you right. Your inner guidance will steer you towards the right direction for you. And it might not be something that you have previously thought of. But I see with a snake here coiled around this, Hecate's got her fire baton here, like guiding her, this guiding light. And then there's this snake, and snakes are symbolic of death and rebirth because snakes shed their skin. So there might be this needing to shed some kind of old identity, some kind of past self that maybe was trapped in some sort of situation or was in somewhat of a more perhaps passive energy or in a more, say, feminine energy. And you're letting go of that old identity. You're letting go of an old way of being. You're letting go of a time when you maybe didn't have that ability to be autonomous over your life or ability to have sovereignty over your life. You're letting go of all of that. And I feel like you're really taking that power back, and this new self that you're growing. Like once you've shed the skin of that old way of being, this new self, you can see the snake is kind of pointing in that direction. It's like it knows, like your creative energy, your kundalini energy, your spiritual energy, it will guide you, right? Like your inner, it's like that inner kind of serpentine energy. It's like you have that guide within, you have that wisdom within, that deep wisdom within that you can draw on that will guide you to exactly where you need to go. So if you have been feeling a bit stuck or trapped or lost or a bit like, oh, I'm just suddenly, something that you thought was going to go a certain way, or like, maybe you say, for example, you wanted to go traveling and you had a partner who previously had said, oh yeah, we'll go traveling one day. And then you guys broke up or something. And they're like, oh, well, I can't go traveling now because I wanted to do that with that person, or, I need my night hair or something. There could have been that energy of like thinking you were going to go in a certain direction or waiting to go in a certain direction with a particular person or, something like that. And now it's like, you've got this clean slate, you've got this freedom, you've got this power, but that can feel quite scary, right? It's like, sometimes it's easy to be in that more passive energy, maybe of like waiting for someone else to come and like kind of quote unquote rescue us or like guide us or tell us what to do or be like, okay, yep, cool, I'll take you traveling. Like, let's go here, and here. And you can just kind of follow. And sometimes it's easier to just follow, and not have to figure it out and not have to like, be responsible for all the decisions and all the endless decision making and all the planning and like, all of that. But I feel like you're coming into a period now where like you're learning to listen to your own wisdom. You're learning to discern your own wisdom and listen to your own inner voice and trust where it's guiding you, and learning to kind of have fun with that, like being in your own night energy or playing with that masculine energy a little bit more, of like letting your own inner masculine night come to the fore and like, empower you to kind of, it's like where the feminine energy is listening to that intuitive self, and then the masculine energy is then acting on that. So it's like, again, with that aventurine crystal, which could be a very useful crystal for you, finding that balance between those two polarities. So let's have a little bit more of a look. Actually, I'm just going to move these like this. Let's get a little bit more of a look into the energy of your authentic self. What is the energy of pile 3? Whoop, that one wanted to come out. Surrender. Yes, I love this. Let go, freedom, flow. Yes, I feel like at your core, you want to be free, pile 3. You want to be free from something, whether it's, like I said, a relationship, your home place, your like a school, something where you felt a bit trapped. You want that freedom. You want to just like let go, throw your arms back and go towards what you really want to go towards what your wisdom is calling you, in the direction that your wisdom is calling you towards. There's this need to kind of surrender and go with the flow. And then which again is that sort of very like feminine energy of surrendering to your intuitive guidance, and then bringing about that night energy to create that balance where the night then takes action once you've intuited what the best direction for yourself is. Let's have a look at what qualities are at your core. What qualities does pile 3 have at their core? Please, Spirit, what qualities does pile 3 have? Whoa, these ones came flying out. Almost crushed the little flower there. Okay, so we've got vitality and we've got another snake. I love this. Yes, so again, with the rebirth and with the Kundalini energy and the vitality energy, this is, you know, vitality, Kundalini. It's like you've got a lot of creative power, you've got a lot of spiritual energy, a lot of like life force energy. We've got sort of orangey, yellowy colors, red, orange, and yellow in this fairy's wings here. So, you know, those are all like linked with the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus, which are your foundational 3 chakras. So that's that. It's very like fire colors. You know, sacral energy is linked with the element of fire, so it's linked with that creative spark for life. It's like you've got that spark, you've got that vitality. This is at your core energy that you can really draw on. Yeah, you've got a lot of yeah, it's like really deep, rich energy that you can actually tap into to guide you on where you want to go next. But I feel like there's something that you maybe need to let go of before you're able to like sort of like regenerate, is what I'm hearing. Like maybe you've gotten a bit burnt out because of something, whether it was like caring for someone or being in a relationship that became quite draining, or might have had some codependent dynamics or something, or some sort of situation where you felt quite trapped, where maybe you were just giving a lot of your energy to that thing or that situation, and it's drained you maybe of your vitality. So there's this need to kind of regenerate your energy, to let go of that thing that was draining you and go in the direction of something that like does give you vitality. So starting to try things out and, you know, go towards things that are giving you energy back, and people and situations that are giving you energy back, and you know, cutting ties with, or, you know, cutting away situations that are not serving you or that are draining of your energy. Because there's something here around like protecting your vitality, protecting your life force energy, your Kundalini energy, your spiritual energy, your creative energy, so that you can just have that freedom to go towards what you want to go towards. I feel like maybe in the past it's like your wings have been clipped by something. It's like you've been stuck inside and you just want to, you know, like let your arms out and go towards what like really gives you more energy, what regenerates energy for you. And then we've also got gratitude here. So I feel like with this is maybe a sign to practice an attitude of gratitude for what it is that you want to see in your life. So, you know, by being grateful in advance for something, you will start to tap into that vibration of having that thing already. So if it's, you know, say you want to have more adventures, or you want more clarity about a certain situation or something like that, it's like, you know, scripting or tapping into an energy of like, I'm so grateful that I am, you know, I have the freedom now to travel the world and be like location independent, or, you know, I'm so grateful that I now have let go of something that's toxic and I can go with the flow and go towards my heart's desires. Or, you know, say if it's you're wanting to get more physical energy back or something along those lines, it's like, I'm so grateful I am now able to like I regenerated my energy and I bound this energy to do all the things I want to do, or something along those lines. There's something around being grateful, practicing gratitude. Yeah, and also with the pink rose there, I'm getting like heart energy, heart chakra energy. Pink is the color of like unconditional love. It's a very feminine, it's connected with the like feminine side of the heart chakra. So maybe there's something around like, yeah, really offering yourself unconditional love. Like we said with the princess card, we've got the number 1 here. So it's like putting yourself first, you know, loving yourself first, being grateful for, you know, where you've had to cut ties with things in the past that weren't serving you. You know, I feel like I'm getting this energy of someone's higher self really being grateful for, you know, the you that has previously had to walk away from something really tough, because it's going to create so much. You're going to get back so much vitality once you've let go of something that really wasn't serving you, and start moving towards your freedom. So let's have a look at the tarot. Actually, let's get a little bit more of some more energy on who you are. Whoops. Wow. Or what's going on for you. So I was going to say before the card just flipped out, we've got 5 of Cups. Yeah. So I feel like very much you're in the energy of the moment of letting something go. Literally, like we can see these cups have spilled over. So something that you maybe thought was going to work, something that you thought was going to work out, whether it was a relationship or, you know, a job or something like that. There's been some kind of disappointment. You've had to release something. There's been some like letting go of emotions. You know, we can see she's by the ocean here, and the ocean is symbolic of, you know, emotional purging and, you know, needing to let go of emotions, getting in touch with your emotional self, which is ruled by the element of water. So there's been maybe a lot of like, you know, maybe some crying, maybe some releasing, maybe some feeling quite emotional, feeling quite tender, as you've kind of been grieving some kind of disappointment or loss or letting go of something. Maybe some of you have like moved away from home or moved away from family or something, and that's been quite difficult, a difficult loss or something. But I feel like your focus has been more on what you've lost, as opposed to, if you can turn around, you will see that there are 2 cups on this table. So and also all this like party and celebratory energy. So I feel like at the moment it may feel like, oh, I've just lost everything or something. You know, maybe you've walked away from a home or a partnership or something, and it's very disappointing. But actually there's this energy here of, you know, you have so much to look forward to. There's 2 cups still standing. There are 2 cups here. There are other things that can emotionally fulfill you. There are other things that can bring you joy and like vitality, and there are other things to be grateful for in your life. So maybe if you felt a bit like, you know, everything's like at an end, and like, oh well, I can't do this now, you know, say an example of like, oh well, I was going to go traveling with my partner, but you know, now they've left me, or now we've split up and like I can't do anything. And it's like, no, like, you know, if you want to go on a beach vacation, like, you know, you can do that yourself, or like you can still do these things, or like there might be someone else that will come into the picture, you know, but you had to let go of something that wasn't serving you. I feel like there was some sort of it's like that direction wasn't aligned for you. You need to go in a new direction now that's going to give you, it's like so much more freedom. It's like you'll be able to go with the flow of something that you really, really love. It's like you've had to, die to this old way of being and rebirth as this new identity. Let's get a little bit more energy for, woo! 2 cards came flying out. Let's have a look. So we've got 4 of Pentacles. Interesting how this card really mirrors this card, because we've got 2, well, this is stone and this is brick, but 2 structures being indoors where you're kind of, it's like being trapped in a prison room, or, you know, like a sort of an old institution or something. So, and 4 of Pentacles can be a lot to do with like holding on to something, clinging on to something, staying stuck, staying, you know, really sort of conserving energy, conserving resources. You know, it's kind of like a card of like, don't spend, you know, save your money, or like, you know, don't spend your energy, or, you know, it can be a little bit to do with like staying in your comfort zone, or staying a bit stuck, you know, kind of keeping things like kind of keeping a low profile kind of thing. So what I'm kind of getting from that is like, maybe this is coming out under this let go card. Yeah, there's this need to like let go of control so that you can go with the flow of life, go with the flow of where your heart is leading you. You can see this figure here. She's very like, her heart is pulling her, you know, and she's just letting her arms out and she's going with the like flow of where the breeze is taking her. So I feel like, you know, maybe some of you have been trying to hold on, trying to cling on to whatever that situation was that was emotionally disappointing. It's like, even though that maybe wasn't that good for you, and you may have known that it wasn't that good for you, but you don't know anything else yet. And so there's that fear of the unknown. You know, we've got the Hecate card with the unknown. It's like, that's really scary. You know, I don't want to look at the unknown. I just want to stay focused on, you know, what I did know, what was comfortable. Like, even though maybe it wasn't great, it was comfortable. I knew it, you know, you were in your comfort zone. And then we've got 3 of Pentacles, which I feel like this is you moving into an energy where it's interesting because Pile 1 got this card as well, but it was a really different energy. It's like a different message coming out for this card. It's like for you, pile number 3, you're being moved in a new direction to go with the flow of this like life force energy and put your energy into what it is that you want to create. Now, for some of you, that could be something very creative. So there may be messages for you on pile number 1 as well, because there were a lot of messages around like being very creative expression, expressing yourself how you want, using that creative energy. But for you, pile number 3, I just feel like this is more to do with like you plugging your energy into what I'm hearing is like any pursuit that you choose, like having that autonomy with that Knight card, taking action, like fighting the good fight, like, you know, kind of like fighting for what you want, going after what you want, you know, taking action on what you want, you know, putting your energy, putting your life force, putting your vitality towards things that you deem as something that like fills you up kind of thing, or something that gives you vitality and something that you love as well. We've got this figure is dressed in a green dress, which is linked with the heart chakra, which is all about love and doing something that you love, you know, like what do you, and listening to your feelings, going with like what your feelings are guiding you towards. So let's get one more. I feel like there's one more that wants to come out. Get one more card for pile 3. Wow, that one flew on the floor. Okay. Oh my gosh, I love this. Page of Wands. Yes. So I feel like for those of you that particularly resonated with the example I said about going traveling, in this case, this Page of Wands, he's got his broom for traveling on, right, with his little tiny knapsack, and he's like, oh, what direction should I go? And again, with the direction, the crossroads, the unknown, I feel like some of you are wanting to travel, if not literally, then just more metaphorically, more generally in your life. You want to move, you want to be free, you want to be free to go in any direction you choose, you want to be free to follow your creative impulses. With this figure, he's wearing an orange jumper, which orange is the color of the sacral chakra, which is all about creative expression and zest for life and tapping into your passions and, you know, what brings you vitality. It's that very much that Kundalini energy, that life force energy gets really stirred in that like sacral chakra region. So, you know, what is it that stirs up your passions? What is it that brings you vitality? What do you want to plug your energy into? You know, I think you're really starting to shift your energy from this disappointment, this loss, letting go of your comfort zone, going towards your freedom, going towards like going with the flow more, starting to plug your energy into what actually brings you vitality and going in more of a like free range direction is what I'm getting, like free range chicken. But you know what I mean? Like being not being caged. Yeah, like that's probably why I just said free range chicken. It's like, not, you know, the options when you go to get a chicken, if you get eggs, you know, you've got the caged hen eggs or the free range eggs. And the caged hen, you know, it's like you've previously been caged, or you've previously been stuck in something, and now you're like out in the open. You can see this energy is totally the opposite to this. It's like, this is that knight energy going off on an adventure. Well, he's a page, so he's a little bit young to be a knight yet, but he's you know, knights are usually on horseback, but he's on foot. So maybe you haven't got your horse yet, but you know, you're going to graduate to that. Don't worry. You're taking steps towards becoming a knight by going on foot anyway, by just packing a little knapsack and being like, okay, let's just see where the winds take me. You know, if it is traveling, it's like, let's just go on one little trip by myself. Maybe it's just going outside of your hometown on a day trip, on a walk first or something, you know. And I'm seeing autumn trees here, so maybe that's coming up in autumn, you do that. Or it's going to, you know, if you do more than that, it's like, you know, you want to have more of an adventure than that. It's like going to one country by yourself first. You know, it's like just taking small steps, you know, to create that freedom for yourself to go in whichever direction you choose. Free range, right? It's like, where do you want to plug your energy? Where do you want to go? Because I feel like your future self is going to be so grateful to you that you took off and did that, like, you know, went with the flow and like created that freedom for yourself. Maybe for some of you, this is creating a whole new lifestyle for yourself. Like, it's like, maybe this is, you know, being in a confined situation where you've had to be in a certain workplace and work, you know, certain hours, and, you know, save up and like kind of exchange time for money, and, you know, sort of like do the corporate thing or whatever it might be. And now you're like, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be free. I want to go with the flow. That's burnt me out, that old job. And I want to get my vitality back, and I want to plug my energy into more creative things. And I want to have the location independence to be able to travel and like just work off, you know, work from my laptop, or work, you know, independently or remotely or something like that. So it could be creating something like that. For others of you, it might be like just, you know, getting out of, like I said, if you've been in a relationship or in a home or something where you've been in a situation that's kind of kept you feeling a bit trapped or a bit controlled, and now you're just, you know, Page of Wands energy is like you're stepping out into the unknown, like we had with Hecate. You're going on your own journey. You don't really know maybe where you're going yet, but you're just trusting your impulses. You're trusting your instinct. You're seeing what lights you up. You're seeing what you like, what you don't like, where you want to go, who you like. You know, you're trying things. It's like creative freedom is what I'm getting. Really beautiful energy. I love this for you, part 3. Very excited. Let's have a look at, we're going to move into a few cards now to look at like guidance on how you can come home to yourself. We've got some rituals and a goddess card for you to finish up. Whoop, another one falling on under the table. Your cards are going everywhere, part 3. What's going on? Pink bees integrating your healing. Oh, this is such a sweet card. Yeah, I feel like this figure is out in nature. So again, I'm kind of getting this energy of like you getting out into nature, maybe doing some meditation could be very healing for you. We've got the color pink again. So we had pink with the gratitude card with pink rose. So yeah, offering yourself unconditional love as you go through this process. Integrating any healing you've been doing so that you can then, yeah, get your vitality back to go in the direction that you want to go in. Because I feel like at the moment or in the past, maybe your energy's been leaked, or you've sort of like your power or your energy has been attached to this other situation or this other person. So there's just this sort of energy of coming back into like reintegrating all those sort of disparate pieces of yourself and coming back into your power, I feel like. I'm going to get the guidebook for this one because I feel like there might be a ritual that could be useful for you. Let's have a look. 42. Here we go. Pink bees. There we go. So allowing lessons and insight to settle into your body, allowing healing, pollinating new beliefs and healing, bringing healing lessons to everyday life. So as we heal and grow, it's common to have big bursts of insight, experience, and understanding. The more we stretch, love, listen, and accept ourselves, the more we need to take time and space to rest and integrate what we've learned. This can be done through journaling, sharing, and imagining these new paths of healing to settle into our body. So I won't read all this out, but for those of you that might want to do the creative visualization or the journal prompt, I'll hold this up to the camera and you can pause it and take a screenshot, and hopefully you can read that okay. Just drop a comment below if for some reason you can't, and I'll pop it up on like in the community tab or something for you, but hopefully you can read that okay. But yeah, there's I feel like there might be, yeah, just a little bit of healing as you let go of these things that have been holding you back, or these old ways of being. You know, we did have with the snake there, the shedding of the skin. So there is this, yeah, letting go of the old, letting go of that old identity and integrating, you know, aspects of the new self that is more unconditionally loving towards yourself. And kind of, yeah, just like sort of grounding in yourself, grounding in your own energy. Especially if you have been someone who has been in something where you've been, your energy has been tied to someone else or a sort of another situation. So let's just get one of these botanical cards for you. Woo, that one flew out. Valerian, release rigidity. Wow, yes. This is just confirming this surrender energy, let go, freedom flow, let go of rigidity. This is kind of the same energy as this Four of Pentacles. You can see this person looks quite rigid. They're kind of like sitting on their treasure chest and their hands are down and they're like, stay down, stay down. So whether this was sort of an energy you had within yourself, you know, maybe for the example of someone who's been in a certain job, you know, you're like, right, I've got to just stay in this job for 10 years and save X amount of money, and I've just got to do it, and I've got to just toe the corporate line and live in a certain way because that's, you know, what I've told myself, or, you know, or that was what my plan was or something. Or, you know, maybe if this was a rigidity that was imposed upon you from the outside, like by, you know, parental figure, or, you know, conditioning, school, a relationship, you know, you're very much, you're letting go of that. You're coming into a more free-flowing energy, an energy where you can, you're not constricted anymore. You're not under some rigid rule thing of like, this is what you've got to do. It's like you can just be true to yourself. And I'm hearing a plane flying across at the moment, so maybe, yeah, for those of you that wanted to have the freedom to travel, this plane is symbolic of, actually it's a helicopter, but yeah, travel anyway, movement. You know, you've got the freedom to move in the direction that you want to, you know, like to go with the flow like that. Let's get one more. Oh, we got, there's quite a few, but I'm just going to take the top one. Okay, we've got crack open. We've got rose again, so a double message of rose. Yeah, cracking open. Yeah, I feel like that is kind of maybe what might be happening to you. It's that shedding of the old skin, you know, cracking open, like releasing a kind of shell that you've been in, whether because of conditioning or something within your own kind of psyche or something that's been imposed on you from the outside. It's like you're cracking open, and underneath is like this like true self. I'm getting shown the image of like those Russian dolls, you know, where they like have the wooden dolls, and then you open it up and there's another little smaller one inside, and so on and so forth. And it's like you're kind of cracking open these layers of conditioning that have been put on you, or layers of control, or whatever it might be, and you're getting to the crux of like who you really are, which is really beautiful energy. So let's finish up with, we're going to get a goddess card and a goddess dream card to see which goddess is overseeing this process of coming back into your authentic self. Please, goddess, can we have, woo, I think it's this one that flew out. I love this fan, goddess of charisma. Beautiful. Yeah, and we've got all these birds that are flying. So again, it's that freedom. You know, some of these little fairies or birds look very, very similar to this one here, similar colors. So yeah, finding your wings, finding that freedom, creating that freedom, whatever it is that you need to do to like move where you want, have the freedom to go where you want, to travel where you want. And also this goddess is wearing a blue dress, and I think I mentioned, did I mention the color blue? I can't remember. But blue is linked with the throat chakra, which is all about expressing your true self, being true to yourself, being true to your needs. Yeah, kind of honoring your authentic self. So I feel like this goddess is coming in for you to like allow you to honor your authentic self, allow you to have the freedom that you want, to go in the direction that you want, to like, yeah, it's very fun and playful energy is kind of what I'm picking up from this. So let's get a, where did I put the other? Oh, here we go. Let's get a goddess dream card for the guidance. We've got moon, law, ebb and flow. Yes. So this is just confirming that same message with surrender, go, freedom, flow. Yeah, learning how to balance those energies of receptivity, resting, integrating. You know, we have with the integrating your healing and the meditation there. It's like integrating everything you need, you know, and then trusting when the tide is out, that's just the ebb of things. And then when you have your vitality restored, you'll be able to go with the flow and start to take action, like with that night energy, towards the direction that you want to go in. And we've got a lot of blue energy here again. So again, linked with the throat chakra. So yeah, the goddess of charisma Fand is coming through to allow you to go with the ebb and flow of life, to allow you to move towards, you know, to flow towards things that, you know, are going to restore your vitality, are going to light you up. Okay, let's finish up with a couple of little angel cards just for a final message from the angels. So angels, can we have, oh, one's falling on the floor. All your messages are falling on the floor today. Three for some reason. Oh my goodness, I love that balance. What have I been saying throughout most of this reading? With the adventuring crystal, we spoke about balancing your masculine and feminine energies, and we've got ebb and flow, which is like the ebb and flow of life, you know, the ebb and flow of the tide. The tide comes, sometimes the tide needs to draw back, so your energy needs to kind of come back within, you know, go back into your intuitive self, listen to your intuitive self before it can then flow outwards towards life. So it's finding that balance between the ebb and the flow, the receiving and the doing, the feminine and the masculine self. Let's get one more. I feel like all the messages at this point are just kind of very synchronistic and kind of just all flowing on top of, or like just confirming each other, really. Let's get one more. Okay, and we've got grace. Beautiful. Yeah, that's that very... I'm just noticing, sorry, I was trying to work out what this figure was doing, what the angel was doing on this card, but it looks like kind of like Tai Chi or something. Yeah, it's some kind of like martial arts maybe, or dancing. It could be dancing. But yeah, whatever you need to do to like find grace as you go through this like healing process, you know, it's kind of finding that peace, finding that stillness, finding that lightness, you know, finding that, like sense of kind of serenity, I guess. Sense of, being able to go with the flow and, you know, give grace to perhaps situations that, you know, might have held you back in the past, or, you know, whether it was, you know, it could be just giving unconditional love to your inner self if it was your own self that has been holding you back. You know, or keeping you stuck in a rigid structure, or, you know, if it was someone else, you know, just giving that grace there and allowing yourself to come into balance within your own energy, trusting in your own path, focusing, you know, turning your focus from that Five of Cups, from what has been lost, towards, you know, your own freedom and what direction you want to go in. Okay, pile number 3, I feel like that is all the messages that I have for you today. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. Leave a comment below if this resonated. I would love to hear from you. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the reading. It helps tell me what content is resonating. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already part of the Elves Temple community, and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. Thank you so much for being here, and all the best with your journey to come home to your authentic self, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love.